get any worse! Why? It's not hatred, I'm a devil, take your raping, I'm a devil, take your raping, I'm a
It's horrifying.
That's pretty much the reaction of the collective lefts as Twitter accepts Elon Musk's offer of $44 billion for Twitter. So welcome back to the channel today, everyone. So I want to talk about Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter, the reaction, and what it means moving forward. But first, our sponsor today is the Tuttle Twin Books. In a world where teachers seem to prioritize teaching wokeness to your kids, you have to take your child's education into your own hands. The Tuttle Twins have books that teach them history, sound money, personal freedoms, and more. Use the link in the description and get your books today. As well, get your tickets to Freedom Fest using the code TRANSFORM50 to get $50 off on your purchase. Link in the description below. So Twitter. If you don't know, Elon Musk purchased the platform for $44 billion, and the reaction has been something to watch. But why the sudden fear from the left? Well, Elon has vowed to make Twitter a free speech platform. If it doesn't violate local laws, then it will stay on the platform. Though I assume this will still be regulated to not allow porn and whatnot on the platform in order to stay on the app stores, but I digress. With this, reactions have been expected from the Words Are Violence crowd. So first you have the typical $44 billion would solve world hunger, instead he decided to use it on this platform type comments, which are so ironic because our government just passed a $1 trillion spending bill to send military aid to Ukraine. Our government is $30 trillion in debt, and yet we haven't made a dent in ending world hunger. Wonder why. But with that, my response on Twitter was, people are mad that a private citizen took out a loan and paid $44 billion for Twitter, saying he could do good with it, when the government takes trillion-dollar loans and doesn't do those things with it. I mean, they obviously don't understand how financing works because Elon doesn't have the cash on hand to pay for this. He is basically going into debt for it. So he needs to make his money back or sell because technically the money isn't spent when it's on an investment, right? You can actually sell and get the money back. Even if you're losing, you'll get some of that money back. That's what he's doing here. Next is the predictable flip from both sides on Section 230. On the 14th, I asked how long it would be before we see the left trying to repeal Section 230 after this deal is made. About an hour after the deal was made, the White House announced they are looking into reforming Section 230. Followed by this announcement yesterday that the Biden administration creates Disinformation Governance Board under DHS to fight misinformation, otherwise known as the Ministry of Truth. Go read 1984 if you didn't get that reference. Finally, the people who are afraid of free speech. First, there are those who don't seem to understand what free speech means, like this account who thinks that being blocked is against free speech principles. It says, FYI, we are blocked by Elon Musk. So much for being committed to free speech. Like, Elon Musk didn't ban this account, he simply decided to disassociate. Free speech means that you can say what you want regardless of who wants to hear it. But banning that speech is against free speech. Disassociation is not. And like, I don't know how genuine this tweet is, but from so many, it seems like they think that their block button is going to be taken away when Elon takes over the platform. And then next, you obviously have the people like Robert Reich, who used to mock the right and say, it's a private platform, go start your own, with tweets like this. Anyone who says Twitter's ban violates the First Amendment doesn't know Twitter is a private company, and the First Amendment protects individuals against government. And now because of the purchase, he's saying this. Musk and his apologists say if consumers don't like what he does with Twitter, they can go elsewhere. But where else would consumers go to post short messages that can reach millions of people rather than Twitter? The free market increasingly reflects the demands of big money. I mean, that's the exact sentiment that the right's been saying since, Trump got banned, Marjorie Taylor Greene got banned. I mean, the only people whose position have stayed consistent are libertarians. And now we have the man who could only stay away from Twitter for one day after the purchase was made, and he said, I am told this morning that Apple and Google will remove Twitter from the App Store if it does not moderate and remove hate speech under Elon Musk. This isn't a new policy, but a commitment already made. Amazon Web Services has the same commitment, so there's that. There's really a longer thread there, but you kind of get the gist of what he's trying to say. But what I really want to know is, what is hate speech? I mean, nobody can define it. It's up to whoever interprets it to decide. So really, I think that this should take over as, what is a woman, as the question to ask leftists, because they don't have an answer. But to close this out, I would like to show you this clip of MSNBC host Mika letting the cat out of the bag and telling us exactly why they're afraid of free speech.
He could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
That is your job.
Because it is their job, which again clues you in to why they tried to cancel Joe Rogan a few months ago. If they can't control the narrative, you will begin to see past the curtain and how corporate media lies to you. Just ask CNN+. The tide is shifting and it's awesome to see. Even founder and former CEO Jack Dorsey is excited for this, as he acknowledged that the Twitter board has been an issue for a while in this response to this tweet. If looking into the history of Twitter's board, it's intriguing as I was a witness on its early beginnings, mirrored in plots and coups, and particularly amongst Twitter's founding members. I wish it could be made into a Hollywood thriller one day. And Jack responds, it's consistently been the dysfunction of the company. And another tweet just said, are you allowed to say this? And Jack says no. Honestly, I can't wait for Twitter's comments to be more like Rumble's. I see y'all on my videos. You're hilarious. But with that, let me know what you think in the comments. Click that like and subscribe button and go support our sponsors and follow me across all social media platforms, and I will see you next time.
Go